A local black family is looking for accountability and to raise awareness following what they call a blatant act of racism. It all stems from a lesson in driving manual transmission that was not welcomed by some in a predominantly white neighborhood. On Tuesday afternoon, Nico Murray met his father at his dad's house in Sunrise Terrace in the town of Dickinson so that Nico could practice driving stick shift. They chose the dead end of Adams Drive 3 blocks away because it's one of the flatter sections of the neighborhood. That's when they were approached by a white woman demanding to know what they were up to.
Said she was going to call the cops, so I started to pick up my phone and record it. And from there, it was mainly just questioning what we're doing there. Why are we driving back and forth? We don't really belong here. But she said she had never seen us in this neighborhood before.
What was your question?
Asking you what you're doing.
I'm not
looking for an address. I'm not looking for an address.
Nico is visiting home from college. He attends NYU on a full scholarship. His mother, Carla Murray Scott, was furious when she saw the video.
She saw black folks. We can say that she's ignorant. We can say that she's a bigot. But this is clear racism. If Nico and his dad were white and they were driving back and forth, you would have seen a dad giving a son driving lessons and all would have been well.
Carla says the woman had no right to use her privilege as a white person to tell Nico and his dad that they don't belong and to use calling the police to intimidate them.
So as a parent, I'm extremely concerned about this interaction. And it's not a one-time thing. Things like this is happening throughout our community.
What do you think I'm going to do?
Back and forth.
Yeah, I could do that.
What do you think I'm going to do? What are you scared of?
I'm asking you.
What are you worried about?
I was asking.
No, but what are you worried about?
What do you mean?
You seem pretty brave enough to come to the car. So what are you worried about me driving back and forth for?
I was asking you if you were looking for an address.
I'm not.
No, we're not.
Carla says she worries about what might have happened if the woman was armed or if the police had been called.
This situation could have been worse. Thank God it was not. But it could have been worse, right? So there needs to be conversation, there needs to be more dialogue, and there also needs to be change.
So you're just going to keep driving back and forth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nico says another woman approached their car several houses down with similar questions. Carla says everyone needs to wake up to the fact that racism is alive and well in our community.
If you are not a person of color, this is not your reality. You don't know what it's like for someone to see you and assume that you do not belong because of what you look like.
Carla Murray Scott says she'd like to figure out a way to use her family's experience to not only spark dialogue, but concrete change that leads to people being held accountable when they seek to harass and intimidate people based on the color of their skin.